Welcome to Brainstorm. I'm Lisa Williver, and today we are discussing jobs and careers of the 21st century. But before we begin, let's take a look at what's actually happening in today's job market. From the time kids are old enough to speak, someone will inevitably ask them, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" If a kid enjoys playing in a pretend kitchen, people assume they want to become a chef. If they build with blocks, carpenter or construction worker is the obvious choice. But the job market, as it tends to do, changes. While new jobs are added, other jobs go the way of Morse code. While many of today's jobs will continue to exist, tomorrow they may look a bit different. When today's wannabe superheroes reach college, they'll come face to face with some new and somewhat confusing job titles. And even though most 4-year-olds aren't mulling over a fulfilling career as a corporate brand strategist or a logistics configuration analyst, today's kids definitely need to be prepared for anything. To brainstorm this week's question, I've invited Dawn Hiltner, a former elementary school teacher and the Associate Director of Organizing and Coalition Building for the New Jersey Education Association, and Dr. Leon Ciccarello, who brings over 20 years of experience in energy and trading utility markets in the United States and Europe, as well as large-scale enterprise software products. Dawn, Leon, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
So, first question, since we're talking about careers and what kids want to do when they grow up, what did you want to be when you grew up? Dawn?
When I was about 5, I wanted to be a waitress, and I did achieve that dream as I got
living
older.
the dream.
I was living the dream.
Excellent.
Wasn't that much of a dream, though. It's a lot of hard work.
Very
So
very
tip
hard
your
work.
servers well.
Absolutely. And how about you, Leon?
I was all over the place.
Hard to believe.
Typical young boy with lots of interests, mechanics, but mostly mechanical background kind of stuff.
And I imagine maybe you were driven toward the sciences?
Yeah, at that time, science fiction was enormous. So
Okay.
yeah, there was lots of chasing robots, chasing all kinds of sci-fi and all that kind of stuff. So sure.
Now, I know with kids today, the job titles don't always explain what the job is, and especially because technology has been changing so rapidly. We went from the late 60s to the mid-70s with the 8-track dominating the market. Then we had the cassette, and little by little, everything that comes out has a shorter lifespan. And it seems like technology just changes so quickly. So, Dawn, how do you feel that schools are responding to all the technological changes?
Well, it's very difficult because the technology changes so rapidly. It's sometimes hard for schools financially to keep up with the latest thing on the market. A lot of the schools use Chromebooks. A lot of the schools try to have technology departments, but some of the other schools actually partner with other organizations. They'll partner with businesses or partner with other scientific companies so that kids have an opportunity to work on some of the latest equipment and latest technology.
That's really great to hear, because I can't imagine being in high school right now and wondering what I would want to do. Leon, how do you feel that kids are prepared as they're coming out, being a business owner and an entrepreneur? Do you feel that kids are prepared for what they will be facing right now?
No, they're not prepared.
Tell us how you really feel.
They are lacking in the basics. They are great at adopting technology. They love the toys. But if you get down into the nitty-gritties of how's the toy put together, how's the functional position of what they have in their hands, they fall off quickly.
So what I'm hearing is we're giving them the application skills, but somewhere there's a disconnect between actually applying them.
Yes.
Is that what you're finding with the younger workers that are coming your way?
Most of our onboarding for our new employees, there's a lot of rigid position in understanding the old days of reading, writing, arithmetic. They lack the creativity needed to think about a problem outside the box. We say this all the time, get outside the box. But when you say that to a young person, they don't know what that means. And they are lacking the tools to be able to build a new perspective of what out-of-the-box thinking means. And what ends up happening in our onboarding perspective is we take an employee and start to run them through their job criteria. Help them understand what they need to do on a day-in, day-out basis. So we're not really testing them. We're educating them in the fundamentals of almost like the apprenticeship position of how to do their job.
So I would imagine that costs employers more money in preparing the employees, where before they might have been able to adapt quickly to a new job or a new profession. Does it take more time and more money to get the employees where you need them to be?
It does. It helps us create corporate culture in regards to the way that the employees act inside our organizations, so that they're part of the team, part of the gear work. But it does have a cost from the standpoint that we feel like we're basically starting over with the employees.
Today, as adults, we've kind of put our kids in these structured environments, and it's important to kind of break that mold and give them an opportunity to explore and solve their own problems and come up with their own ideas.
So as an entrepreneur, what advice would you give to parents to have kids prepared? I mean, schools are doing what they do. So what can the parents do to either supplement or expand upon what the schools are doing? Are you going to say unplug all the devices?
No, that's a very loaded question. I had a conversation at a party with a number of parents. Most of the parents are interested in their kids' education, but ill-equipped to deal with it for 3 reasons. Either they don't have the time because their jobs are very intense, and they physically don't have the bandwidth to be able to do homework with them because they've got their own homework to do when they finish dinner. Or they're at a lower playing field where when they were in school, they were poor students, they were thrilled to get out, and they don't want to do school again. And they surely can't help them with their homework because they don't remember enough. And nor do they want to get a refresher on their own to remember how to do it to be able to help their child. So instead of looking silly to their child, they'll skirt the whole thing, and one child left behind, all the kids left behind. That's because true. The parents aren't supporting them, and the teaching establishment is expecting the parents to pick up the slack, and they don't.
We'll be right back after the commercial break.
What to expect when you're expecting.
Like here?
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Welcome back to Brainstorm. I'm Lisa Williver, and today we're talking about jobs and careers for the 21st century, and I'm excited to continue the conversation with Dawn Hiltner and Dr. Leon Ciccarello. So we were just talking about all of the different things that schools are doing to try to prepare kids for the 21st century. How do you feel that academics compares with athletics right now? Because I know we don't want to see them in competition, but I know for some kids there's much more emphasis on athletics. Leon, what do you think about that?
I think there's a disconnect.
Okay.
We award, everybody gets a trophy on the ball field, and in the classroom, we hold them accountable. It becomes uncomfortable. They fail. They don't want to do it anymore. They're not patted on the back as quickly as they are on the ball field. So there's a huge disconnect in the way that we're showing them how to succeed in life. And then they go to the path of least resistance. So they become athletic orientated.
How about you, Dawn?
And I think I completely agree. And I think a lot of times, though, when the athletics becomes more competitive, kids are more likely to drop out because they don't like to sit on the bench, or they don't like that their team's losing all the time. And, you know, there's a lot of education that goes into learning how to lose gracefully, learning how to make yourself better, learning how to put effort in, even if it's not always rewarded, because that's what real life is like.
And I notice, my youngest is 11, and I notice in the elementary schools right now, the difference between the travel teams and the recreational teams. There's even a disconnect between how they play and how the parents respond on the field. It seems like the recreational leagues are more like when we were growing up. The kids are playing, they're having fun. It's not overly serious, but if you go to some of the travel teams, it's a lot of pressure on the kids. And I always wonder how that translates into other aspects of their lives. You know, do you think maybe if somebody's excelling on the in athletics that might push them for academics, or maybe have the opposite?
It's the opposite effect. In fact, most of the parents that are pushing their kids on the D1 team, that's their plan for paying for college. And unfortunately, it's a poor plan. The parents didn't plan, the kids are falling in the same trap.
Another thing I wanted to discuss with you is the trades. I'm the daughter of a tradesman. My father was a butcher for 45 years, and he worked hard, but that was a skill. I mean, that he was trained, he was an apprentice. And then it seemed like for a while there, we started trying to steer every kid to college, whether they were prepared to go to college. And in doing so, I felt like we devalued our trades, and we need them. I think that's something we'll always need. So as a business owner, how do you see the devaluing of the trades? I mean, do you even agree with that?
I do, and there's a big evolution in regards to the trades. You know, we've replaced muscle with automation, and we're moving to the point where that is the norm. So the trades that required plowing a field, going out and doing something physical, doesn't exist anymore. Now you're asking the question, do we have enough knowledge in the core position to be able to do the trades that were revolved around sort of the gray matter and the ability to think through a problem and take the trade to the next level? That's where the opportunities of the future will be. But what that looks like tomorrow, I don't think any of us know.
What do you think, Dawn?
Well, the trades have gotten a lot more technical and a lot more skilled, I believe, than, you know, strictly, you know, using a shovel or pushing a plow, or, you know, it's really, you really need a wide skill set.
What, now mixing the trades with the modern technology, which trades do you think are going to be really great markets for kids that are in high school and are looking for something that they should focus on?
Small scale manufacturing seems to be the trend that is taking off right now. We're looking for design concepts and thoughts around things that are one-offs because of that customized fashion. When you get into the larger scale common use position, automation has basically crushed that. So there's no, the old cliche of a large scale factory that produces 1,000 things a day will continue, but it'll be exactly what it is, a non-manned entity, chunking out widgets. The jobs will be in the small scale jewelry and or small desktop publishing and or making of products for personal use that have a personalized touch to them.
Well, I hope kids and parents are watching right now and that they took some notes. Right now, we are going to play Brainstorm.
Okay.
In the tradition of brainstorming, we are going to look over some ideas, decide if they're good or bad. If they're great, we're going to save them. And if they're not, you get to ball them up and make a basket. Okay. No pressure.
Or miss the basket.
Or miss the basket. Either way, it's all good. So idea number one, the job market historically changes very slowly, and that trend continues. What do you guys think?
False.
That's false.
All right, Leon, I'll give you the honors. Now, this could be extreme. No, okay.
Move the target.
All right, there we go. One more time.
There you go.
2 points. Okay. Idea two, creativity is a luxury schools can no longer afford.
That's false.
There you go. We know
That's
that
the most important piece.
Woo, okay. Idea three, many sustainable careers will be found in the tech sector. Ah, sustainable. I can see you're stuck on the word sustainable. What do you think?
Tech's always changing, right?
Tech is always changing, and we're all looking for sustainable jobs because that's something that was inbred in all of our thinking. I get this career, and this career will support me my whole life.
Yes or no?
That's a no.
All right, ball it up. Number four, many sustainable careers will be found in the medical sector.
I would say true, because we're always going to need doctors.
Down.
So I keep this?
The trades are best for low-achieving students who lack discipline.
Oh, that's false.
It's an awful stereotype. Both of you go at the same time. There we go. Two more. You ready? Yeah. Didn't see that. Excellent. Young people should expect to start at the top.
False.
Innovation requires creativity and skills.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, idea number 8. Social skills are as valuable as career skills.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, if not more.
More? Okay, I agree with that 100%. So Dawn, Leon, I want to thank you very much for being here right now. We're going to go to a break and we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Brainstorm. I'm Miriam Davenport. Today we have a guest, Marta Voda, who is a recruiter for the media and tech industry. She'll be talking about jobs in the 21st century in the California area. Welcome, Marta, to our show.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course. It's a pleasure to have you here. We're talking today about jobs in the 21st century market, and specifically, I noticed in your bio that you talk about social media, and I wanted to know, how do you use that towards like graduates as far as marketing toward the younger audience? Is that important, and how do you do that?
It's not only important, it's vital. Most recruiters use social media as their primary source for finding candidates. So if you are on LinkedIn, we're out there looking for you. We also follow you on Twitter, or we'll follow your Instagram. If you have a blog, we will also, if we come across your resume, look at your LinkedIn and sometimes look at your social media just to see, what you're active in, as well as the company that you keep, particularly on LinkedIn.
Yeah, because I know that's so important for the younger audience. They're always on their social media, and for a company to be tuned into that aspect of it to grasp them and pull them in towards what they're looking for is important. So you also have something on there about leadership. Now, is that not something that you find that the schools are preparing the students? How do you look for leadership qualifications and coach the candidates for that?
Well, leadership is something that you get a basis for in school, but you really don't start to build upon it until you get a job. And so when I'm looking at entry-level folks for positions, my recruiters and I will often look at, what they've been doing while they're in school. Did they have a leadership position within a club, within an organization at school? Were they a supervisor during, even if it's like at a summer camp, were they leading people, motivating them? There's a lot of soft leadership skills that you can build upon. And even when it comes down to customer service, seeing that on a student's resume and being able to handle money quickly, do it quickly in your head, and get your customer happy and moving, that is a form of leadership that they can build upon when they enter the workforce.
So in San Francisco in particular, what does your company look for the media and tech industry as far as degrees that the kids are having when they graduate?
Computer science is huge. Anything computer science, anything that is marketing, business related. There are degrees in digital that are starting to come up from most of the universities. The other thing that we look for is scrappy. When you work in the media industry, when you work in technology, oftentimes you're working for a startup. You're working for a company that is moving fast, it's a speed up, and you've got your job description, but you also have all of the other jobs that you need to do. So you'll have to wear many hats, you'll have to move quickly, and so students that have that good mix of a great degree, some internships, and they just can move quickly and adapt are the best types of folks for these industries, for these jobs.
Okay, I see. So, Marta, is there anything else that you wanted to tell us regarding how your company is gearing itself up towards the 21st century job market?
Well, the 21st century job market is here, and we're already noticing that there are a lot of jobs that are becoming automated, and it's great. You're looking at driverless cars, you're looking at restaurants that are robot operated. And so in order to stay competitive, I tell my candidates, I even tell my kids, you want to be in a position where your emotions cannot be automated. Again, that customer service, that social interaction. If you are working in a field that might be automated, say food service, say retail, there are certain types of life skills that students need to have now in order to compete. Coding skills. If you have basic HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and a solid computer science background, I think you'll be in better shape. And usually those programs will prepare you for that.
All right. So, Marta, thank you so much for brainstorming with us. It's been a pleasure. And we'll look forward to talking with you maybe sometime in the future.
I look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you for brainstorming with us. We'll continue our conversation from California after the break.
Why don't you ever see elephants hiding in trees? Because they're really good at it. Yeah, I get it.
Hi, and welcome to Brainstorm. I'm Miriam Davenport, and today we have another special guest in the studio via Skype. We have David Baga, who is outworking the competition in sales, and he is in the California area, and we're going to be talking with him about sales positions or sales in general in the 21st century market in California. And he likes to be called the millennial sales recruiter, and he's really doing a lot of big numbers in sales, and we want to talk with him. Welcome, David Baga, to our show. Welcome to Brainstorm.
Thanks, Miriam. Good morning. Thanks for having me. I'm very excited to be here and be a resource for everyone out there and share anything I can to help everyone out there as well.
I got to tell you, your bio makes me really dizzy just thinking about it. I mean, you've done basketball coaching, you're outworking everyone in medical sales, and you've authored 3 books. I guess you're telling everyone that sales is the way to go in the 21st century market, right?
Yeah, it's funny. Well, first of all, thank you for the kind words. I didn't coach. I was a college basketball player at the University of Arizona from 2005 to 2009. I walked on, so I learned, I think, how to scrape and claw from an early age at 18, and it was, pretty much survival, when you get to that point. And I think I always had a personality to go into sales. I never knew it was going to be recruiting until about 5.5 years ago when I saw how much fun a lot of my friends were having, and I thought, I love dealing with people. I love talking a lot, so I figured it would be definitely a fun path to go down. I minored in writing in college too, and that's where the books came in. I really wanted to tell my story to a lot of kids out there about how I was able to walk on at a top 5, top 10 Division I basketball program, and really use that as a springboard to get to the next step of my career. And so, but yeah, I mean, for me as a recruiter, especially working, being a millennial, working with a lot of millennials, placing a lot of millennials, and more importantly, being a resource to a lot of millennials and helping a lot of millennials, that's what I strive for every single day. And so it's, in this 21st century, you have so many more areas now, like social media and marketing. But I tell candidates all the time, and I tell people that if you want to make the most money and have a great successful career, I still think sales is the way to go.
Okay, so why in particular medical sales?
Well, as of mid 2017, healthcare was voted the #1 industry to get into. And being a former athlete, a lot of medical companies hire a lot of former athletes and people with competitive personalities, really that are just competitive by nature. So it kind of it kind of weaves in being an athlete again and using that competitive nature every single day. And so, and I think when you look at medical device sales, pharmaceutical, healthcare, biotech, anything really under that life sciences space or that healthcare space, I think it really gives people an opportunity to help people every day. And that's what I'm about. And I learned that from a pretty young age. And, even when I got my B2B sales training at Paychex, 6 years ago. And, just knowing that I can help people break into this industry because it's recession proof, and it's growing a lot every single day too. And, there's so many jobs out there. And so it's a very popular industry. And I think, along with, software sales and that technology space, you're entering into such a powerful market, when you go into the healthcare vertical or into medical device. So it really gives people, I think it really gives people an option to really take that leap to the next step of their career. And that's what I see every single day when I'm on the phone with people, is that the number one reason why people want to get into medical device sales is because they want to get from, here to here in their sales career.
Now, David, you're such a go-getter. If people don't have that particular skill set, how is that cultivated? And what do you look for in people when you're doing recruiting?
Well, first of all, thank you for the compliment. I look for people that are very energetic over the phone. I mean, I think you can tell, in 2 or 3 minutes of me being on the line with you is that, I'm a talker, and my energy will just come out, without anyone even saying anything to me. I'm very type A. I look for that every single day. Now, if they don't have that, I can definitely coach them up and get them ready to what I call win your sales career, right? I mean, that's the mantra that I take when we're presenting someone for a job, for an interview, because it's a process. But I look for people, there's obviously certain specs that we have to look for on the job order, whether it's outside sales, light medical sales, maybe a list of accounts that they can call on or that they've been used to calling on. But for the most part, I look for a lot of the intangibles, like that it factor, just someone that is going to, be persistent with me and call me 20 times a week and ask, hey, what's the update on the job? Because I know if they're being that persistent with me, it's going to carry over and they're going to be like that with a manager. So I look for those little things like that because I think, managers hear so many things every single day. They hear, hey, I want to make a lot of money and I want to have the house with the white picket fence, which is great. But I want those candidates that think outside the box and that maybe love to help people. Maybe a device saved one of their family members' lives 15 years ago, and that kind of changed their way of thinking, and that's what made them get into medical sales. So that's really those are the qualities that I look for. Just, people with the great attitude, energy, and effort, and that want to bring it every single day.
Well, thank you so much, David, for being a guest on Brainstorm. I wish we could keep the conversation going, but I know you have some workshops coming up, and I wish you continued success on those as well. Thank you.